Bulma woke up with a start. It's tomorrow. She knew, of course, she'd been counting the days. Tomorrow was when the 7 years would run out. Well, I've had enough time to prepare at least. Despite constantly getting sidetracked, a couple of weeks ago she'd finally finished the project she'd started after Cell. She put it on as she got dressed. It wasn't today, no, but she was nervous. 18's upgrades were just about finished too, the process sped up greatly by the annotations her future self had provided. She'll be at the tournament, I can tell her then. Ah, the tournament. That was the thing. Will something happen there today? Something to trigger whatever it is will happen tomorrow that my subconscious was counting down to. Better be careful. She tried to put the anxious thoughts out of her mind. Today was a big day for Trunks. Alright, Bulma, just put on a smile. Don't let this kind of thinking spoil the day. She made herself walk confidently towards Zarbon's door in order to shake him out of bed. Nell was already gone. It had been arranged yesterday that he'd go and make sure Launch and Company remembered which day it was, and actually turned up. As for Goku and Company, she knew Chi-Chi wouldn't let them forget. The familiar sound of fist meeting face reverberated throughout Otherworld, shortly followed by Pikkon crashing to the ground, rolling and standing up quickly. He put his hands on his knees, breathing hard. Damn! I can't believe you beat me in just your first Super Saiyan form. How do you keep improving like this? Raditz floated gently to the ground, powering down. When I unlocked Super Saiyan 3, it was like discovering a whole new realm of power. Room for improvement in every form. You'll never be satisfied. What are you aiming for, anyway? Got any galaxies you need to blow up? The Saiyan grinned. I don't think even I'm up for something like that, friend. Hold on. Yeah, something's coming, I know. Kaioshin, feels like. The Supreme Kai could hear their conversation, including the dismissive way he was being addressed, but chose to ignore it. Why is it that every time I'm around these two, I feel like my position counts for nothing? Raditz, I have need of you. You do? So, what's new? Kaioshin frowned. Might I remind you that I am telepathic? Right. In any case, I have good news. We've tracked down Babidi. He's been moving with a shielding spell that even my ancestors' power could not previously penetrate, but he's had to drop it now he's finished his long journey. He's been gathering energy with which to revive Majin Buu, and he's returned to the planet on which Buu is imprisoned. Which is... Kaioshin blinked. Earth. Did I not tell you? Raditz returned his blank stare. No, you did not. Oh. Well, either way, we must stop him from reviving Buu. The fate of the universe hangs in the balance. Raditz pointed to the halo above his head. Dead. Sorry, I can't help you unless you drag him up here. Are you not aware that the pure-hearted dead are allowed 1 day in the living world to settle their affairs, if they're able to find a suitable intermediary? One such medium does exist on Earth, a fortune-teller by the name of Baba. A memory surfaced. You mean, when Goku talked about seeing his dead grandfather again at Baba's palace, that was the truth? He laughed, pleasantly surprised. And here I thought he was just confusing it with a dream or something. He was a kid when it happened, after all. Oh, that's great! A whole day, huh? If I finish your wizard off quick, I can see everybody one more time before coming back here. He turned to Pikkon. Hey, did you ever... Pikkon shook his head. My planet has no such person to deal with the business of the dead. In any case, I had full closure. Any further contact with my friends and relatives would have merely prolonged the tragedy of my passing. And anyway, that was centuries ago. He smiled. They're all in heaven now. You should go. You think? Yes. You always sound a little sad when you talk about them. He shook his head, annoyed with himself. Oh, and the whole universe being in danger. That too. Right, will do. Raditz turned to Kaioshin. Let me stop by somewhere to pick up some backup, and we'll go kick that wizard's ass, alright? Kaioshin nodded. Excellent. Today will be a glorious day. I can feel it in the air. Kabuto, take us to Earth. Gohan was woken by the dawn. Light streamed in the window, bathing the room in a reddish glow. Unexpectedly, pain stabbed at his head as he sat up. He staggered down the hallway to the bathroom, flicking on the light and looking into the mirror. He suppressed a gasp. An M. No. The M. The same design was scratched into his forehead. There was dried blood beneath his fingernails. Frantically, he washed himself off. Luckily, the cut was extremely shallow and was practically invisible once he'd cleaned the red stain away. Keep it together, Gohan. What could possibly go wrong, huh? Besides, if something does come up, I've got my new ace in the hole. I haven't exactly been devoting myself to the martial arts like Dad, but I haven't been idle. Alright, you all ready? Launch regarded her daughter, dressed in a simple dark gi, smiling up proudly at her mother. Yeah, huh? Break grinned happily. Come on, let's go now! Let's go now! Just a minute, okay? I wouldn't worry about it. Nail emerged from the back rooms, having grabbed a drink of water. I'm all set. Launch turned back to Break. In that case, a hiss of air gently pushed outwards as the space that had formerly occupied was suddenly filled by a humanoid body. The tack of a foot touching the floor. An intake of breath. Launch spun, certain of what she'd see. She practically tackled Raditz, throwing him into an embrace and cutting off whatever clever quip he spent the last half hour working on. They remained there, just feeling and smelling and breathing in each other, until the silence was broken by a tiny voice. Are you? Launch stepped away to the side, letting Raditz crouch down in front of their child, an expression of absolute wonder on his face. Are you my... He gave a boyish grin, ruffling her hair. Hey, you grew up. Leaning closer, he whispered, Come on, if I was anybody else, your mom would have killed me for sneaking up like that. Tien burst into the room, Chaozu just behind as the reunited family continued to celebrate. He stared, wide-eyed. Raditz? Then I really did sense... Nell nodded. Yeah, it's him. Something's up. If he just wanted to see them one more time, he wouldn't have waited so long. Unless he didn't know he could, of course. But I sense something troubled within his mind. All, it appears, is not well. Hey, check out the halo. Launch drummed her fingers on the ring floating above her dead partner's head. Do they hand those out in heaven or what? Don't touch that! Raditz laughed. Wow, I was wrong. About what? I thought I knew how much I missed you. He fought to hold back tears. Hey. Launch leaned down towards Break. You've got a tournament to be getting to, haven't you? Oh, is Daddy coming? Break hopped back and forth, her superhuman strength letting her literally bounce off the walls with excitement. Can you take her now? We need a little time to talk. Alone. She smiled down at the young girl. We won't be long, but you've got to get going now. Promise? Break asked. Promise. Raditz held up a hand. Actually, it might be better if you stuck around. Launch, Nail, Tien. Don't worry, I'll take her. Chaozu walked over to the door. Come on, I know the way. We'll meet up with Bulma. She can help you sign up. Right. See ya. Break vanished into the sky, following her tiny guide. Okay, good. Raditz said when they'd gone. I didn't want them getting mixed up in this. Listen, there's a... Can it wait 10 minutes? Launch asked. I guess? Immediately upon hearing the words, she swung a vicious uppercut that launched Raditz clean through the wall and into the mountain behind, then sped off after him. Raditz clambered out of the rocky crater, sensing her approach. Not enough to really hurt me, but still, when'd she get so strong? Hey, I'm impressed, he said as she landed opposite him on the mountain road. I didn't think it was possible for a human to improve that much so fast. His eyes narrowed. I think I know what this is about. Launch pounded her fists together, grinning savagely. You bet! I promised you when we met again, I'd be stronger. I'm going to prove it. If you want to fight, I'm all for it, but you don't have to prove anything. Yes, I do! A fiery Kaioken aura blazed to life around her. That attack didn't even scratch you. I'm not satisfied yet. Are you sure you're not a Saiyan? Yeah! She attacked again, even faster than before, but this time, he was ready. He deflected the momentum of her first kick to the side, then jumped 20 feet into the air to avoid the second. She pursued him upwards, and he sidestepped around a punch, sending her crashing back to the ground with a ki. But it took some effort. She rolled, instantly springing to her feet. Hey, you were right. You're not the fragile human you were when I left. He paused, realizing what he said could have been taken badly. Not that I loved you any less for it. It's just great to see how far you've come. She smiled. Still not fast enough to catch you, though? No, but you're making me work for it with the Kaioken. It's impressive. That's so. She breathed in deeply. Then let's see how you like me going all out. Oh? He watched, curiosity peaked, as she discarded her bandana, letting her hair hang loosely down her back. She dug her feet into the ground with a downwards burst of ki, then crossed her arms in front of her face, energy building around her. The red aura appeared again, brighter, more intense. She seemed to become completely drenched in sweat in an instant, and steam began to rise from her body. Multicolored flashes of light played up and down her shaking form as the fiery blaze continued to expand. Finally, she raised her head, a look of deadly concentration on her face. Spirit Kaioken! With a noise like a barrage of artillery, the red glow seemed to burst free of the confines of her body. It raced out in every direction, covering the landscape. Remember the balance. Two sides of me, working in harmony. Calm, peaceful, and violent, chaotic. With one, reducing the strain of the technique, letting me push it to higher levels without tiring. With the other, adding that sudden burst of power and speed in the exact instant I need it, making my level seem even higher than it is. Raditz almost choked in surprise. Horizon to horizon, everything was tinted in the same crimson. The sun's light, just beginning to shine over the mountaintops, was red on red. And Launch, at the center of the inferno, she was a figure of living flame, shining almost white. The ground around her melted away, streams of lava rolling off into the snowy mountainside and cooling instantly. Tien's never seen this! She kicked off the air, propelling herself easily towards him and flooring him with a double-handed swing. He moved with the attack, sliding backwards through the evaporating snow. It gleamed, reflecting the red light into his eyes as she landed in front of him. He threw a quick jab, a feint, but she saw through it, stepping back to avoid the real threat of his rising knee. He followed up, throwing a ki blast that she ducked under, aiming a high kick. He dodged, noticing her fist already swinging at him again. He caught the punch, trying to push her away, but she matched his strength. His hand began to heat up from contact with her fiery skin, and he had to break away, only for her to take advantage of his momentary imbalance and trip him. He let himself fall backwards, landing a kick straight to her face with the same motion. Nail was dumbfounded. They've just been reunited after 7 years, and they start fighting? Red-tinted daylight streamed in through the broken wall as dawn broke. That's just like them. Tien was almost bent double with laughter. It's good to see some things don't change. He calmed down, folding his arms and standing up straight. They'll get to the more normal stuff in a minute, I'm sure. Crazy. I never suspected Launch was this strong. Several minutes later, Launch's elbow smashed into Raditz's ribs, and he cried out as he fell, the breath knocked out of him. For her part, she felt drained all of a sudden, stumbling and falling next to him. The flames her body was wreathed in dying out, and the unnatural glow that covered the landscape receding. Launch sat up, taking great heaving breaths and trying to recover. I thought you were a little stronger than that. You matched me. He stared up at her, eyes full of wonder again. Only in your normal form, she shrugged. Still, you completely overcame normal human limits. I'm happy for you. They sat in silence for a while. I missed you, she said finally. I missed you too. But you couldn't face coming back, only to fade over the years. She sighed. Similar as we are, humans and Saiyans aren't the same at all. No. And for understanding that, I'll never stop thanking you. They shared a glance, then went back to gazing at the sky. You think I'd have been a good father? No. He grinned. I think you're right. Why'd you come back anyway? You're still dead, I can see. She tapped his halo. So it's temporary. What's the deal? He stood up. Well, first I only just found out I could come back, so I might have come anyway. But as it is, there's something I have to do. Not alone, I hope. She stood as well, stretching. While both were winded from their fight, they'd recover soon enough, and weren't really injured. No, I was going to ask for your help. Tien and Nail, too. See, there's a wizard named Babdi. Hey! They looked up to see Tien floating down towards them, suppressing a smile. Somebody's going to have to fix that wall, you know. Go on! Go on! It's today! Come on, let's go! Give it a rest, Goten. It isn't for a couple of hours. Do I even have to enter? You bet you do! Chi-Chi tutted, descending the stairs. We need as many chances as we can get at that prize money. It's not easy with 2 kids, especially now you're in high school. Alright, but let's give it a... What are we waiting for? Goku's voice came from outside. Gohan leaned out of the door, seeing his father silhouetted against the rising sun. You got something better to do? And thus, the Buu Saga has begun. That's it for Chapter 72. I'll see you in Chapter 73 in just a few seconds. Stay tuned. Alright, have you both let off some steam? Tien addressed Launch and Raditz, equal parts stern and joking. Think so. Launch nodded to Raditz. You were saying? Okay. Sure I'm not going to get interrupted this time? Nobody responded, so Raditz drew in a deep breath, preparing for the third time to tell them about the impending threat. Alright, everybody got what they need? Chi-Chi asked. Yep, Gohan nodded. Don't worry, Mom, I know what those two are like. Goku looked back at them. Okay, guys. Chi-Chi, Goten, remember what I've taught you. It isn't too hard once you get the hang of it. With that, the four of them took off into the skies. Bulma laughed out loud. Not that Krillin's joke had been very funny, or indeed funny at all, but it was a joy just to see all those familiar faces. Man, it sure is good seeing everybody again. You said it. Goku and family touched down. Hey, Bulma, Krillin, Goku! Krillin warmly greeted his best friend. Hey, there's a mini-you back there. Yeah. Gohan nudged his younger brother forwards. Say hello to everybody, Goten. Hi. Goten, bedecked in an outfit reminiscent of his father's, and with matching hair and smile to boot, waved awkwardly. Oh, hey Trunks. Bulma's son ran up from behind her. Why don't you two go play, alright? She suggested. As the pair raced off, she turned to Chi-Chi. So you did get the hang of flying? Yep. Chi-Chi nodded. Gohan was one thing, but when I saw Goten pick it up, I decided to get back in the game. She flexed her right arm as she spoke, giving Bulma the chills. What does she mean, back in the game? She already trains every day, doesn't she? Well, feeling slightly awkward, Bulma shoved Krillin and 18 forwards. Well, Krillin was just telling me about him and 18. Oh yes, I remember, she came back. Chi-Chi smiled at Marin, currently sleeping in her father's arms. I'm very happy for you two. Why? Goku scratched his head, oblivious. You guys start a babysitting service, or? Krillin sighed. Goku, this is our daughter, Marin. What? Goku practically collapsed. What? Can she even... I mean, well, she's an Everyone began staring daggers at him. He hastily backtracked. That is to say... Bulma broke the tension. Same old Goku. Don't worry about it. 18 smiled tersely. But for your information, I was a human who was then converted into an android. Let's just say... everything works. Krillin grinned. And how? I heard that. Oh, come on! It was a joke! A joke! Krillin protested as Gohan dragged him and Goku away, having noticed that Bulma was trying to speak privately to 18. You sure you made the right choice? Not even going back to say goodbye? Bulma asked. I mean, it was a nice gesture sending the time machine back empty, but don't you think... It would have been too painful, 18 said quietly. That world has too many painful memories for me. Every second I stayed there, out of that misplaced sense of obligation, was a reminder of how far we could have fallen. She took in a deep breath, calming herself. Besides, I sent them a message back. Oh? What'd you write? You know what they say. 18 removed a copy of the picture from her pocket, something she often carried. It depicted her with Krillin and Marin, all beaming, standing on a sunny beach with Roshi goofing off in the background. The picture's worth 1,000 words. Bulma patted the cyborg on the shoulder, understanding. Sister, that one's a whole novel. She straightened up, smile vanishing. Listen, I finished those upgrades. If you want to... Sure, after the tournament. 18 began to walk back towards her family. We're both okay with it, by the way. We've talked. I don't mind some physical changes if it lets me better protect my family. There are plenty of other fighters around, you know. Whether you choose that life or not, it's up to you. 18 shook her head sadly. No, it isn't. I have this incredible power. I know by now that new enemies can appear at any time. It'd be selfish to throw away the chance to save those I care about because... Well, you know the problems. You told them to me. Bulma frowned as she left. Still, you'd go that far? Even if it meant losing your own humanity, something you fought so hard to find. She tried to put it out of her mind. Alright, enough of this. Today's supposed to be a happy day. Gotcha! You didn't! I did! Goten sang happily. Did! You're it! I hate this game, Trunks smoked. Just cause you're slower, you always want to play tag. But I like running. Let's... Huh. They looked up, following the sound of another child's voice, sounding somewhat disappointed. This is what I'm up against? Break hovered above them, arms folded. Who are you? Trunks asked, wide-eyed, as she descended to the ground. The happy, laughing child Break had been for her parents was gone. This was the competition she was talking to, and she had a low opinion of children who spent their time on silly games. So unproductive. I'm the one who's going to beat you! She snorted as she walked off haughtily to go rejoin Chaozu, who had hopefully finished sorting out her registration. Their power isn't really much. See you in the ring, small fry! Goten and Trunks couldn't restrain giggles as she left. You hear the way she talked? Trunks managed. I know! It's just like on TV! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament. Please, take your seats. I know you're all anticipating the main event, but all in good time. We're starting things with the Junior Division. Last time, the first time we'd ever had separate age groups, the Junior Tournament was won by Videl, Mr. Satan's daughter. The announcer adjusted his ever-present sunglasses, watching the crowd settle into the stands. She's old enough to participate in the main competition this time, but I assure you the quality of our young fighters will be outstanding as always. Goku ambled around the ring, in the competitor section. Now, which way to the kitchen? Son Goku. A gravelly voice rang out from behind him, and 4 black-suited men, built like brick walls crossbred with gorillas, filed into the room, surrounding him. Can I help you guys? He asked innocently. You don't seem like martial artists. The stands are that way. Key, normal human. No threat, or really good at hiding it. We understand your son is releasing a book today with the potential to turn everyone on the planet into a walking WMD. The largest growled. Oh, what? Goku blinked. We're going to have to take that book in the interest of national security. You're going to go get it and hand it over to us. I don't think I like you. Goku shrugged. Sorry, can't help you. But ask Gohan. He wrote it after all. Don't play dumb with us. 4 gun barrels gleamed. Close range. 4-on-1. Don't try none of your Hong Kong shit, you hear? Evidently, they'd failed to grasp some fairly basic concepts from the whole Cell episode. Come on, we're all adults here. Goku snatched the gun from the man in front of him, crushing it easily in his hand. Why don't you put the toys away? He frowned slightly as a hail of bullets from the other 3 crumpled on his invulnerable skin, finally hearing the click of 3 empty chambers. His eyes narrowed. You know, I'm not as stupid as I look. I know your game, and I'm not letting you hoard all the power for yourself. His arm blurred, and though he barely tapped the disarmed agent, the hulking man was sent flying clean through the rock wall behind him and onto the street outside. Now go. I don't want to see any of you ever again. Hastily, they complied, and Goku's cheerful demeanor returned as he wandered into the warm-up area. Gohan, 18, Krillin, and Videl were standing in one corner, and he approached them, waving energetically. Hey, guys! What took you? Krillin asked. Don't worry about it. Anybody we should be worrying about? Well, at our level you wouldn't think so, would you? Krillin nodded to a pair of fighters across the room from them. But those two... Some weird key coming from them, don't you think? Yeah. Goku mumbled, contemplating the ones Krillin had indicated. They were strangely pale and completely bald, with bulged-out veins from head to toe. They wore black wrestling-style outfits, and a large, sickly aura emanated from them. One was merely toned and muscular, the other practically a giant. And finally, each had a stylized black M emblazoned upon his forehead. This last detail was why Gohan was sweating buckets. Quite a spectacular series of fights, wouldn't you agree, folks? Young Goten, son of a former Budokai Tenkaichi champion, has made it through to the final match, where he'll face off against the winner of this second semi-final. The announcer indicated the ring with a sweeping gesture. In this bout, Trunks faces off against Break. Both of these competitors have made short work of every opponent they've faced so far, demonstrating the kind of strength that makes me wonder if someone's shown these titanic tykes a sneak peek at this highly anticipated tell-all book, also to be released today. Break! Trunks! Please enter the ring. Trunks hopped up onto the stage, seeing Break waiting for him, arms folded. She repressed a yawn. Let's get this over with. Then I can get on to the interesting fight. You think? Trunks grinned, eyes flashing gold. Who says you'll even get to the finals? Please, I'll beat you in 1 minute. Fighters ready? The announcer intoned. He raised one hand, bringing his index finger down in a sweeping motion. And... begin! Break immediately ran at Trunks, beginning the match with a leaping kick. He blocked it, but the force sent him skidding back to the edge of the ring. She's strong. She was already in front of him. He threw a punch, which she dodged, countering and knocking him clear into the air. And Trunks is about to go out of bounds! It seems... Wait! The announcer blinked. Yes, it was going to be one of those tournaments. Trunks had halted his flight and was soaring back towards the ring. Having not touched the ground, he didn't count as out of bounds. He charged at Break, swinging for her head, but she ducked back, resting her hands on the floor and kicking up and back with both feet, catching Trunks in the stomach. He dropped into the center of the ring, rolled uncontrollably for a second, then hastily scrambled back to his feet. Okay, let's try something else. Break turned to face him. Is that all you've got? You ever stop boasting? Trunks raised one hand, building yellow-orange energy around it. Break shifted her stance, preparing to receive the blast. He fired, and she braced herself, placing one hand behind the other and blocking the incoming beam head-on. With a grunt of effort, she neutralized it, realizing too late that while she'd been focusing on this, Trunks had appeared behind her, arms swinging. The punch took her in the back of the head, causing her to fall forwards. She sprang up, straight into a kick to the chin, which flipped her onto her back. Trunks tried to follow up again, leaping towards her, but she launched a powerful two-handed Ki, knocking him upwards, then vanished, phasing into view above him. She swung an elbow down, taking him out of the air and flooring him again. What a battle, ladies and gentlemen! It seems Break has the advantage for now, but will it be decisive, or can Trunks recover the match? The announcer yelled as the two young fighters paused, taking stock of each other. Didn't expect him to be this good. Break mused. She slowly descended back to the ring. Damn! Trunks grimaced. I can barely keep up. Alright, I'll give it everything I've got. He charged up energy in both hands, grunting. Sparks of power played up and down his arms. Are you ready for... Break was gone. Trunks barely had time to register this, and she immediately reappeared in front of him, ramming home a punch to his stomach. The force was enough to bring him to his knees, coughing painfully as the energy he'd been building dissipated harmlessly. Idiot! Break scowled. You made me use full strength. Sorry, but if I couldn't deflect that, people might have been really hurt. Trunks' hand clawed at her leg. Look, you did well, but I win, okay? Give it up. I won't lose! Trunks hissed, trying to drag himself up. Stop already! Break, growing frustrated, kicked him away, launching him out of the ring. With no energy left to fly with, he fell to the ground, groaning. And we have a winner! The announcer declared as assistants rushed to ensure Trunks wasn't seriously hurt. Break will continue to the final, where she'll face Goten! I lost, Mom. I'm sorry. Bulma smiled warmly down at Trunks. Hey, no worries. You won a lot more. You did great. Zarbon sat next to his son. You can't win every time. Sometimes the other person is just better, and there's nothing you can do. But there's one thing that is your choice. Huh? Trunks looked up, wondering. The Earth-loving alien ruffled his hair. You never have to give up. That's your choice. You can always choose to try again, and do better next time. Trunks beamed. I will! Don't worry about Break. Chiaotzu told the adult division fighters. She does the tough act, but she's a good kid. Yeah, I knew she wouldn't hurt Trunks badly, Gohan said. Hey, isn't that Hercule over there? Goku looked to where his son was pointing. Huh, yeah, it is. The former champion was warming up, shadowboxing up and down the room. He's stubborn, isn't he? Hey, Chiaotzu. Yeah? Use your telekinesis when we draw our numbers. Make sure none of us have to fight each other until the finals, okay? He paused. In fact, make it anybody with ki. Right. That'll make a full finals bracket, Chiaotzu realized. 8 fighters with some ki here. Goku, Gohan, 18 Krillin, Videl, Hercule, and those two. He gulped instinctively at the sight of the two pale-skinned, M-marked brutes. Trunks put his hand on Goten's shoulder, giving his half-sane friend pause in his walk towards the ring for the final. Hey, Goten? Be careful. This girl you're fighting, she's real strong. Goten shrugged. Yeah, I know. She's my cousin. What? You're related? Trunks groaned. No wonder. How come you never tell me these things? You never ask. Trunks fumed. How am I supposed to ask if I don't know? Well, I better go now. Can't be late. Goten waved, running off towards the ring. Hey, just a minute! Remember, you're not allowed to... I'll try. Goten reached the ring, climbing up onto the raised stone platform. But, you know, if she's beating me... Trunks shook his head as Goten approached the announcer. Why do I put up with this guy? I like the new look, by the way. Launch said as they flew along. Huh? Oh, thanks. Raditz had finished explaining the situation, and now they were heading to meet up with Supreme Kai, there to proceed on to Babidi's location. You look great too. Hey, is that him? Nail asked. Indeed, Kaioshin and Kibito stood on the plateau below them. They landed near the pair. Raditz, were you delayed? Kaioshin asked. Nothing serious. You brought allies. I trust any of them with my life, don't worry. And they're amazing fighters too. You don't want to see everybody else first? Tien asked. Raditz shook his head. Plenty of time after we kill this wizard. It won't take 24 hours. I promised Break I'd be there, didn't I? At this rate, we'll miss her fights, Launch noted. Well, I'll be there at some point, he sighed. Just relax, we've got time. Alright, Kaioshin, where is he? In there. The Universal Guardian leaned around the rock he'd been taking cover behind, showing them a small metal building a few hundred yards away. That's just the tip of the iceberg. The majority of Babidi's ship is beneath the ground. Can't we just destroy it from here? Launch raised a hand, charging up energy. No! Kibito hissed. We don't know the exact properties of Majin Buu's cocoon. Damage it could awaken the creature. Right. Kaioshin agreed. We've got to go inside and take out Babidi and his henchmen from within. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our junior finalists, Goten and Break. They fought their way through the competition. Now let's see what happens when these two pint-sized powerhouses meet in the ring. Ready? Start! The picture didn't get any better as they approached. The nearby village was devoid of life, corpses strewn across the ground. The ground around the ship was scorched and barren, like it had been dug up recently. Just as they neared the entrance, the door slid open upwards. Someone's coming! Raditz hissed, quickly assuming a fighting stance. The being that emerged was tall and broad-shouldered, with bright red skin. He had large pointed ears and small horns on his forehead. His eyes were yellow slits, and a goatee adorned his chin. He wore loose blue clothes, over which a white, scalloped cape was draped, hanging down almost to his feet. A black M symbol stood out on his forehead. Dabura! Kaioshin whispered. What's he doing here? Don't tell me even the king of the demons has been enslaved by Babidi, Kibito muttered. So I'm guessing he's bad news? Launch said. Of course. He's the ruler of the demon world, a dark reflection of ours. Raditz might be the mightiest in this universe, but Dabura is the strongest being in his world. Like I said, bad news. Master, Dabura said, his voice deep and menacing. We have guests. Kill the weak ones! A high-pitched, scratchy voice replied from the shadows. We have no time for them. The stronger ones may enter the ship. Their energy will help us in reviving Buu. As you wish. Dabura straightened up, then vanished. He's heading straight for us, Nail warned. There was a flash of golden light, then an explosion of energy. When the dust settled, the events of the past few seconds were revealed. Dabura stood inches from them. Raditz was directly opposite him, having instantly turned Super Saiyan, and was holding Dabura about the wrist. He diverted the demon's arm to the side, preventing the blast Dabura had fired from that hand from hitting any of the others. Instead, it had carved out a mile-long furrow into the earth. Don't even think about it, Raditz warned. Dabura ripped his hand free of Raditz's grasp, snarling. He made as if to charge again, then swung his head around, and spat at them. Raditz instinctively flinched, dodging the projectile, and it flew past him, catching Tien on the cheek. What? Tien recoiled. That's disgusting! Why would you... Gah! A gray sheen began to spread from the spot he'd been hit. Gah! Tien, what? Nail gasped. He's turning to stone! It only took a few seconds for the transmutation to complete. Tien's body was completely converted into a stone statue. You'll pay for... Hey! Raditz growled, glancing back and forth. He's gone. Damn it, he went back inside while we were distracted. Sighing, he powered down. What's with that guy? Does he want to fight or not? He wants to draw us into the spaceship for some reason, Kaioshin replied. Those turned to stone by Dabura's spit can only be returned to normal if Dabura is killed, Kibito explained. Raditz cracked his knuckles, anger spreading across his face. That's so. Sounds like we've got some murdering to do. Wait! Think! Kaioshin pleaded. This is exactly what Babidi wants. He's drawing you in. Then I guess it's Babidi's lucky day. Launch strode forwards. Come on, guys. Raditz followed close behind. Nail slowly turned to go. I know we're probably walking into a trap, but I can't leave Tien like this. Do what you will. The Supreme Kai's eye twitched. Those fools! That's it for Chapter 73. I'll see you in Chapter 74 in just a few seconds. Stay tuned. A gentle murmur swept across the crowd as Goten and Break faced off. Where did they come from? Juniors were mostly boring last time, but this... Tenzeni on the girl! Weird hair on the boy, huh? Looks familiar, actually. Break raised one arm in front of her, the other stretched out behind. Are you going to attack me or what? I thought I'd let you go first. Goten replied, smiling and standing passively, scarcely looking like he was in the biggest fight of his life. Whatever you say. Break kicked off the ground, dashing towards Goten, who grinned as he sprang into motion. Psych! He swung his arms forwards. Kamehameha! Standing in the competitor's block, Goku groaned. No, we've gone over this! He still can't say it right. Break skidded to a halt, startled, and dropped to the floor. The beam sailed over her head, then suddenly banked in midair and shot off in a completely different direction. proceeding to bounce off in another every few seconds. It carved a groove in the ground, narrowly missed taking the announcer's head off, then finally hit the wall in front of the spectators, detonating. "Goten!" Gohan hissed. "That idiot!" Goten lowered his arms, perplexed. I still need to work on that. "Your guard's down!" Break darted forwards, kicking Goten in the head and staggering him back. He recovered, blocking her other leg as it swung at him, grabbing her by the ankle and swinging her to the floor. She bounced off the ring, propelling herself up into the air, and he followed. Trunks watched in awe. "They're moving so fast." The two fighters worked their way up, steadily higher, rapidly exchanging indecisive blows. He landed a punch across her face, breaking past her guard, and she kicked him in the side as she flinched back, spinning him around. Taking advantage, she quickly recovered and elbowed him in the back. He flipped forwards in the air, coming back around to face her upside down and renewing his assault from the strange position. The odd tactic worked, and Break was forced onto the defensive, finding herself hard-pressed to hold off his rapid series of attacks. She was slowly pushed down, towards the ground outside the ring. Inches from her ring out, she whipped one arm out, pulling him up by the ankle until his face was level with hers, then headbutted him, following up with a kick to his body that knocked him back into the center of the ring. Goten grumbled as he stood, hearing her approach. "Trunks was right. You got pretty good since I saw you last. And you're not as sloppy as usual, Goten." Break raised a clenched hand towards him. "Ready? Or are you hungry, like always? Let's go!" Goten rushed her, throwing a few quick jabs, which she easily blocked. She counterattacked, but overbalanced, and he ducked under a swing. He grabbed both legs, pulling them out from under her and beginning to swing her in a circle around him. "And 1, 2, stop it! 3! On the third full rotation, Goten let go, sending Break sailing off into the air. The audience, as one, held their breaths, then exhaled as she pushed off the air, flying back at Goten and swinging for his head. He ducked again, and she flew past him, landing behind him. He straightened up just as she swung around, firing off a two-handed energy blast, completely engulfing him. She stepped back, wiping her forehead, then froze before a smile could creep onto her face. "Hey, that light." A golden glow was coming from within the smoke cloud. "Oh, he didn't." Goten flung his arms out, an omnidirectional ki wave blowing the smoke away and revealing his Super Saiyan transformation. Break groaned. "Idiot." Gohan punched the wall, knocking a hole through it. "Goten! I thought we were clear on this! No Super Saiyans at the tournament!" Videl nodded. "Because it's the one thing you can't teach anyone, right? Nobody's going to be surprised that we can fly or whatever anymore, but you don't want anybody to know about your, heritage." "That's exactly it. I mean, after the whole gold fighter business." "Yeesh." Videl patted Gohan on the shoulder. "Don't remind me." Some time ago. Gohan walked down the busy high street on his way to school, having abandoned flying at the edge of the city. "So on my first day at school, hell's loosed on the earth. Hopefully the second will— Help! Somebody help me! Quiet, you! Nobody move!" Gohan rolled his eyes. "Oh, come on!" My name isn't really mentioned very often around the whole Cell thing. And I've grown up since I was on TV. I doubt anybody would recognize me. Might be nice to keep that anonymity, so... He hurriedly transformed into a Super Saiyan after making sure nobody was watching. This should make sure that I don't get recognized. Also, I don't think Super Saiyans have ever been caught on camera. "Alright, we got it all!" One thief called to the leader. "Let's get out of here before the pigs show! You heard him, boys! Let's..." Huh? The lead gangster stopped in his tracks. A strange youth with spiky blonde hair had appeared seemingly out of nowhere, blocking his path. Gohan had made sure to hide his tail with his school bag. Socially acceptable it may have been, but it was pretty distinctive. "You better put all that money back," he said quietly so only the lead crook could hear him. "The person who runs this shop probably won't be able to feed their family without it." "So what? It ain't my problem." The man raised his gun. "Move your ass for it!" "What?" This particularly interesting noise was caused by Gohan crushing his gun barrel in one hand. Still almost a whisper, Gohan said. "Some people just don't understand." "I got him!" A second thief leapt up to Gohan, opening fire. But the Super Saiyan idly reached out with the other hand and caught each bullet in mid-flight, before crushing them into powder and letting them fall to the ground. On second thoughts, maybe going the Silent Avenger route would look cooler. He punched the leader to the ground, jumping over to the second man and kicking him in the stomach, taking him down too. The remaining thieves piled into their car with all the money they could lay their hands on, but Gohan appeared in front of the vehicle, reaching in and pulling the engine out. Setting it down beside him, he calmly turned the car upside down and turned to leave as the police began to swarm the scene. He brushed aside anybody trying to ask him questions, looking for a place to change back, and he spotted Videl around the corner. She saw Gohan, opened her mouth to say hello, saw his panicked expression, and rethought her choice of words. Who are you supposed to be? She asked, feigning confusion for the bystanders around them. I just heard this was happening on the police radio band. I don't need your help fighting crime, okay? Gohan shrugged, maintaining his silent front, and flew off. Thanks, Videl. He's a smart one, instantly realizing what was going on like that. Of course I figured it out, she thought as he left. Why would he need to transform against some random guys with guns? Honestly, he looked so worried. I thought he was going to give the whole game away. Credit me with some intelligence. Videl checked in on Gohan later that day, after school. She found him at his house, posing in front of a full-length mirror in a ridiculous green outfit. What are you doing? She finally managed. Huh? Oh, well, I thought I might need a better disguise if I plan to keep stopping crime like that. Gohan nodded, waving the antenna on his space biker helmet, and leapt into another Ginyu Force reminiscent pose, bright red cape flowing out behind him. So I asked Bulma for a superhero costume, and she designed this for me. Look. He pressed the button on his watch, and in a puff of smoke, he was back in his normal outfit. Quick change! Neat, huh? He pressed it again, switching back to the superhero clothes. Videl sighed. Oh boy. What are you going to call yourself then? Hadn't thought of that. Oh! He snapped his fingers. The Great Saiyaman! The Great Saiyaman! He grinned proudly. Videl walked up to him, rapping her knuckles on his helmet. Let me break it to you gently. The name is stupid. The outfit is stupid. The poses are stupid. Gohan took his helmet off, his face falling. Aw, you think so? Yeah, she shrugged. Sorry, but if not me today, it'd be somebody else tomorrow. He switched back to his school outfit. They're calling you the Gold Fighter, by the way, she remembered. After today. Oh. Gohan scratched his head. That makes sense, I guess. You know, come to think of it, that's a pretty good name. Better than the Great Saiyaman, she agreed, smiling archly. A couple of people saw your Orange Star High School badge, though. Better be careful in the future. Hence the costume. Get a new one. I'm sure you can get that watch set to another outfit. And so, the Gold Fighter continued to pursue his crime-fighting career, in a less laughable, Videl-approved costume. More streamlined, and mostly black with gold highlights. Sunglasses and gloves completed the disguise, leaving his distinctive, titular hair showing. And now, Goten had just transformed in front of an audience of hundreds, if not thousands. Gohan and Videl were, understandably, not happy. Hey, no fair! Break complained. Well, guess I can't help it now. Grunting slightly, she went Super Saiyan herself. Okay, let's fight for real now! Goten readied himself for another charge, but this time Break took the offensive, and the two of them vanished from normal human eyesight as they battled around the ring. Is everybody seeing this? The announcer wondered, then regained his composure. Whatever just happened, the fight is now even more intense than before. I can't see them fighting, but I can hear those impacts. In fact, I can practically feel them. Indeed, the entire stadium was shaking as the two fighters, fists and feet, collided at ultra-high speed, with enough force to level cities. They reappeared high above the ring, hitting each other simultaneously. Break tried to follow up, and Goten ducked back, kicking her higher up into the air. Gritting his teeth in a moment of intense concentration, he fired an energy blast up after her, keeping his other hand out to the side to steady himself in the air. Break, still dazed from his attack, spotted the attack coming. Can't dodge it! I have to... She mentally reached deep into her spirit, closing in on the thing that lurked within. Break! Don't! The voice was immediately familiar. Daddy? Hey, I promised, didn't I? Break, listen. Don't use that power. You're not ready yet. But I have to win! And you can. But you'll have to learn how to control that monster within. If you use it now, you'll be regretting it for a long time. You will win this fight, and without using any higher level. How do you know? Because your opponent, much like his father, is an idiot. Oh, and lighten up, would you? At that point, the mental communication was severed as Goten's blast hit home. The world momentarily went black, then as she managed to open her eyes, began to spin alarmingly. A second or so later, she hit the ground with a sudden lurch. Goten rubbed his nose, landing opposite her. How'd you like that? No response. Break? You okay? She groaned, reached out with a shaking hand. Then it fell still, and she turned back to normal. The announcer scuttled up to them. And Break is down! 1, 2, 3! Goten crouched by her. Break? Hey, say something! I didn't mean to hurt you for real! 4! 5! Goten's voice shook. Come on, please move! If you say so! Break snapped back into Super Saiyan in an instant, grabbing hold of Goten's outstretched arm and heaving him over her head. Never mind then. The announcer leaned in for a closer look as Break smashed Goten into the ground, cracking the ring's surface. It seems that was just a ruse, and he's back on the attack! Break drove Goten further into the ground, breaking right through the ring into the ground below, then let go. He coughed dirt, trying to stand, then panicked as she hurled an energy ball down at him. Wah! He vanished, putting on a burst of speed, then appeared in midair. Missed me! He taunted. Unfortunately for him, Break had planned on him escaping in this way and promptly flew in from behind him, kicking him in the back and propelling him away towards the stands. He tumbled through the air, frantically trying to recover, and members of the audience scrambled to get out of his flight path. With a great effort, Goten finally managed to stop his flight, just inches from touching the stands and a ring out. Phew! At this moment, Break appeared above him, placing both hands on his head and shoving him down until he was practically sitting in the seat below. Aw, come on! Goku sighed. He lost. Well, there's always next time, Gohan said cheerfully. Krillin whistled. Whew, those two really are something. I'm glad I don't have to fight either of them. Nope, all we gotta worry about is the grown-up version. Videl chuckled. Ugh, don't remind me. Krillin groaned. Ladies and gentlemen, Break, the World Tournament Junior Champion! The announcer, having ducked aside to check his mustache, was back and leading Goten and Break off the stage. We'll be back shortly with the main competition. All awards for both divisions will be given out at the end. The preliminary lots were drawn to determine fight order, and Chaozu ensured with his psychic abilities that none of the 8 key-trained fighters would face each other until the finals. As such, the preliminaries were fairly simple. The 8 breezed through their matches against normal martial artists, including those 2 or 3 times their own size and height. Hercule, of course, did his hamming it up shtick, dragging out fights a little before finishing an opponent with a showy and completely unnecessary finishing move, often consisting of nothing more than a fancy name for a simple punch or kick. The 2 M-marked brutes, whose names were given as Spopovich, the larger one, and Yamu, fought with ruthless efficiency, choking enemies or crushing them to the floor until they surrendered or passed out, or simply hurling them out of the ring. I'm pleased to tell you all that the preliminaries are over, the announcer said, and we will now draw lots for the quarter-final matches. Contestant Yamu, please come forward and take a number. The 8 finalists drew their numbers, and this time, the selection truly was random, and the 4 matches were decided as follows. Match 1, Goku vs. Videl. Match 2, Spopovich vs. Hercule. Match 3, Krillin vs. Gohan. And match 4, 18 vs. Yamu. Great. Videl fastened her fingerless gloves on. Just wonderful. I get to fight your dad, the guy who defeated Cell. Gohan shrugged. Sorry, Videl, nothing I can do. I guess I'd have to fight him, or somebody insanely strong eventually. Well, might as well give it a try. Hey, Gohan tried not to blush. Videl? What? She tuned back, curious, a little hopeful maybe. Good luck. He finished lamely, then chanced a kiss on her cheek. He braced for an assault, physical or verbal. On cue, she thumped him on the head. You dumbass! Do you know how long I've been waiting for you to do that? What? He laughed. You could have done it yourself, you know. Are you kidding? The shock would have killed you. She returned the kiss. Now quit distracting me. I have to go get beaten up by an invincible alien. And let the first match begin! Goku walked slowly towards Videl, stretching. So, you want me to get it over with, or shall we make it look like a close fight? Gah! He yelled as Videl rushed him. He backed away, blocking each attack calmly and methodically. She kept up her fast-paced assault. Videl? How long are you going to keep this? She broke away, backflipping to the other side of the ring, breathing hard. Damn! He didn't even break a sweat! You do move pretty fast for a human with only a few years training. Goku gave a thumbs up. It's impressive! Videl considered something for a few seconds. Can you do me a favor? Show me your full power. In this form, at least. Alright. Goku raised his arms slightly, spreading his feet out and furrowing his brow. Ah! White energy began to blaze around him, lighting up the ring. Gales of wind blew out in every direction, flattening the trees that surrounded the stadium. Everyone, hold on to something! The announcer shouted, taking cover. The audience hung grimly to their seats, eyes fixed on Goku's growing power. Eventually, he stopped, and the destructive waves subsided. Dazzling light shone from every inch of him. You happy now? Videl lowered her arms, opened her eyes wide. That's a lot. What, you thought Gohan was the strongest in the world or something? I was never quite sure, but if you're like this in base form, and you can transform just like him, that about settles it. Well, Goku raised one arm. Shall I finish this? Go ahead and try! Videl crossed her arms in front of her face. Goku swung his arm forwards, unleashing a ki that blasted Videl straight back into the wall, protecting the audience, breaking it down. Out of bounds! The announcer declared, seeing Videl sprawled amidst the wreckage of the wall. She shook her head, slowly clambering to her feet. In an incredible turn of events, contestant and former champion Goku knocked our former junior champion Videl out of the ring with a simple gesture. I've seen a lot of crazy moves in my time, but this is a new one. As Videl left, he continued talking, motioning Goku to stay in the ring and climbing up to the stand next to him. Could contestant Hercule please take the stage? Mr. Hercule Satan! Hearing the call, Hercule jogged up and jumped onto the ring opposite Goku and the announcer. Thank you, sir. Now Goku, you've just fought. Hercule, you're about to. You're both former world champions. Can I get your opinions on the competition this year? Well, Goku began. You most certainly can! Hercule butted in. Well, some of them are pretty impressive, I'll give you that. But I wouldn't expect to change a champion. I've been undergoing the kind of training that will make any normal man sweat blood and throw up their own small intestine. He pointed aggressively at Goku. As for you and your hair gel, I look forward to showing you just what the new and improved Hercule Satan can do when we meet in the ring. Goku pushed the pointing finger away. Looking forward to it. I better go. You're up, champ. But wait! The announcer followed Goku, microphone thrust out in front of him. Your opinion on the... Yeah, they're pretty decent. I know a couple of them myself. They're great fighters. Oh, and Hercule's here too. With that remark, he left the ring to an even split of cheers and boos. Now I'm sure you all remember Hercule as the winner of the previous tournament. Up against him this round is Spopovich, who he defeated last time. But from the looks of it, Spopovich has gone through big changes since then. Hercule frowned, circling his leering opponent. He sure has. For one thing, what happened to all that hair? Spopovich cracked his knuckles, keeping his eyes fixed on Hercule. His lips cracked in a hollow smile. Raditz and Launch descended into the spaceship, touching down on the circular patterned floor not far below. Nail, Kaioshin, and Kibito soon followed. The room was oblong, just enough not to be claustrophobic, and decorated mostly in light colors with the occasional black panel. Well, this is homely, Launch murmured. So what happens now? Raditz asked nobody in particular, walking towards the center of the chamber. I can just blast through the floor if that will not be necessary. They turned at the grating, nasal voice, seeing a gray-skinned humanoid creature with an elongated head stretching back a couple of feet from his face. He wore a black combat suit with white armor plating. As expected, the M brand was present on his forehead. My name is Pui Pui, and I will be your opponent. And that means not a single one of you will leave this room alive. Opponent? Nail asked. Indeed. There are 3 stages in the ship which you must pass through to reach my master Babidi. This is stage 1. Raditz tilted his head slightly. What's the purpose of this whole setup? Every bit of energy lost or used by any of you while fighting us, it'll all go towards reviving Majin Buu. I see. He looked back over his shoulder. Hey guys, let me fight him. Knock yourself out, Nil said, shrugging. I couldn't care less. Hold it. Launch put a hand on Raditz's shoulder as he took the first step towards Pui Pui. There are 3 stages, right? Odds are they're saving the best till last. Raditz considered this. Good point. Meant a Boer guy, for instance. Right. She stepped in front of him. I'm still up for a good fight, so I might as well take on somebody I might actually stand a chance against. Alright, go for it. What's this? Pui Pui frowned. Just one of you. You better take me seriously. No single one of you fools has any chance to defeat me alone. He has a point, Kaioshin warned. Babidi recruits the deadliest warriors from around the universe, and once they're enslaved by his magic, they grow even more powerful. Don't take him lightly. Give me a break. Launch turned to Pui Pui, raising one fist. You don't seem like the type to be easily intimidated by tough words, so I'll just let my fist do the talking. Just try. You won't even lay a finger on me, and every blow of mine will feed your energy to Buu. Believe what you want. Far below in the bowels of the ship, 2 stoic figures observed all this. Master Babidi, If you had let me be the fighter for the first stage, this would have been over quickly. That's one deflected my attack. He at least, if perhaps not the others, has the strength to defeat Pui Pui with ease.
I simply wanted to test their strength, Deborah. It'll give you a chance to study your energy. And I don't care what happens to Pui Pui. Next to you, he's nothing. And once I have Boo as well, I'll be unstoppable!
The wizard paused.
Still, I'm worried about this transforming fighter. As you said, he deflected your blast. Will he be a problem?
Deborah chuckled. Of course not. I've yet to use anywhere near my full power. Hercule! Spopovich! Begin! Pui Pui stamped to the ground.
Come at me!
And that is it for chapters 72, 73, and 74. Tune in next week, where we'll continue the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament, as well as Raditz, Nail, Launch, Kibito, and Kaioshin going up against the many minions of Babidi. How will the outcomes vary compared to canon DBZ? Find out next time. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends. Follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with the show. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe. Ginger Powers signing off.